Just as the Senate has begun voting on what's known as the big, beautiful bill, you look at the latest version of the tax bill. The big question that remains is the GOP holdouts. What kind of deal can be cut with those holdouts, and what are you and the president prepared to offer for support?
Well, I'm confident that the bill is going to progress as is over the next few hours, and it'll be on the president's desk to sign on July 4th. So the Senate will vote, pass it over to the House. We've seen incredible leadership, and this is what leadership looks like. So President Trump, then the Speaker Johnson, Leader Thune, and at the committee level, Senator Crapo and Chairman Jason Smith have been fantastic to work with. And again, it all goes back to leadership.
Now, when it comes to the fiscal hawks, has the administration made any assurances about executive orders or legislation down the road to address the national debt load?
Well, I think everyone believes that this is a start. So it's an 11% cut in non-discretionary spending. And we're going to go from there. So we didn't get here all at once. We've gotten here 20 or 40 years, and we are going to bend the curve, bring the debt levels down. I'm a fiscal hawk. I've had a lot of very good meetings with that group. And I think we're all on the same page on how to grow the economy while controlling and bringing down expenses.
Now, let's talk about some of the math there as well, because if the GOP is right and the bill does look to shrink the deficit, how will that affect Treasury issuance over the next 10 years? How does your math square with the CBO, with Wharton, with Yale, and even the Bloomberg consensus of GDP projectors here, economists, that still see growth under 2%?
Well, I think that's just wrong. And, we can start with the CBO. Is their model presumes 1.8% forever. And maybe under Democratic governments, that's right. I think what we saw under President Trump's first term is that we will get a big boost in the economy from the tax bill. We're going to have certainty. We're going to go back to 100% expensing. So we are also deregulating at the same time. So we saw it in Trump 1.0. I think that we can see it here. So I think we can really accelerate the economy, because the CBO model shows 1.8% growth, whether we have the biggest tax cut in history or we get this across the line and give companies and consumers great certainty.
You mentioned that the spending cuts were just a start. Now, which will prevail when you think about the cuts specifically as it pertains to Medicaid? Will the House level of cuts to Medicaid prevail, or the Senate level? And which one will the president support?
We'll see. My sense is, and again, I take exception to cuts. We are actually bending the curve further out. We are getting able-bodied people back to work, and the most needy will have greater benefits.
Well, the main question, too, is the benefits that are being cut. What do you tell the nearly 12 million people that are on the brink of losing access to Medicaid?
Well, no, again, that's not right. 1.4 million are illegal aliens. Then a huge percent of that are the able-bodied working people who will need to go back to work. So we're going to have a work requirement, and we'll go from there. We're just going back to the levels pre-COVID.
So given where the bill is, how does the latest bill impact the trajectory of the debt and deficit in your view?
Well, again, that I think as we accelerate growth, an increased growth trajectory completely changes the debt dynamics. So what we're focusing on is the debt to GDP. We're going to start bringing that back down. We are going to pull down the deficit to GDP. And I think we will be turning both of those down over the next year.
Does it give you, though, enough confidence to start terming out the debt? At what point do you start issuing at longer dated maturities?
Well, why would we do it at these rates? We are more than one standard deviation above the long-term we're more than one standard deviation above the long-term rate, so why would we do that? The time to have done that would have been in 20, 21, 22.